In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what is the Bitcoin blockchain? We'll look at what a blockchain does, a brief history of the blockchain, how the blockchain works, and why it is so revolutionary. So if that interests you, I'll see you on the other side of this dramatic intro. Okay, so let's look at just what a blockchain does. A blockchain allows consumers and suppliers to connect directly, removing the need for a third party. Now currently, most people use a trusted middleman, such as a bank, to complete their transactions between parties. For instance, if you're ordering something online, you go through the shopping cart, you submit your order. It goes to your bank. The bank confirms that you have the funds, and they send it to your supplier, and then he sends you the goods. Or it can be same between two people. You want to send somebody some money, you want to wire them some money, it goes through the bank, and the bank sends them the money. But with a blockchain, it's peer-to-peer and cuts out the middleman entirely. It provides a decentralized database or digital ledger of transactions shared across a network. That graphic on the left depicts this. It's comprised of nodes. They call them nodes, but they're really just computers running the software. And when a transaction is made between two parties, peer-to-peer, the transaction is recorded across this network in all the copies of the ledger. Like I said, it's just essentially a chain of computers, and all records of the transaction must agree before it is verified and recorded. So that is, in essence, the backbone of the Bitcoin is the blockchain, and it allows for a complete, transparent, and fraud-proof system of recording and verifying transactions. Next, we'll take a look at a brief history of the blockchain. In 1979, Ralph Merkle patented a primitive form of the blockchain. It was a hash tree and is known as the Merkle tree, and it functioned by verifying and handling data between computer systems. It was a peer-to-peer network of computers validating data to make sure nothing was altered or changed during the transfer. It also helped to ensure that false data was not sent. In essence, it was used to maintain and prove the integrity of the data being shared. And in 1991, the Merkle tree was used to create a secure chain of blocks. That's a series of data records, each connected to the one before it. The newest record in the chain would contain the history of the entire chain. And so the blockchain was created. Now in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto conceptualized the distributed blockchain. It would contain a secure history of data exchanges, utilizing, once again, peer-to-peer network to timestamp and verify each exchange, and could be managed autonomously without any central authority. And this became the backbone of the Bitcoin. It is what Bitcoin hangs on. It is what makes it secure. It's what makes it peer-to-peer and cutting out the middleman. Now we're going to look at just how a blockchain works, and specifically how it works within a Bitcoin transaction. This graphic shows the progression, and we'll just go through it. This came from the Financial Times, which is actually part of the source for this section of the video, which was from weforum.org. All the links to the source material will be at the bottom of the video. So anyway, let's go through this step by step. They have 6 steps here. And the first one is, in the chart it says A wants to send money to B, but in my example I want to just make that Amy and Bob. So Amy wants to send 1 Bitcoin to Bob. So really between 1 and 6 there's 4 steps. So next is the transaction is represented online as a block, and it's represented by this little puzzle piece here. And this block is then broadcast to every party in the network, and that's the blockchain network. As you can see on the illustration, you know, the different nodes, the different computers are wondering about this new entry. They're checking it out. They're verifying it. It's being broadcast into the blockchain. Next, all parties in this network, in the blockchain, must approve the transaction is valid. And then they put the little check marks on there because it has passed. It's not just some hack. It's not some erroneous transaction or some fraudulent transaction. It's been verified. So then it is added to the chain, which provides an indelible, transparent record of transactions. Indelible in that it cannot be erased. If it's erased out of one node, then that node becomes invalid and it's not part of the chain. So this is a security issue, and it really keeps the record of transactions safe from manipulation, so that it is very secure and very transparent also, because every record you can see in the public record. There's sites you can look up the transactions, but you don't know who the parties were. In that sense, it's very private. So after all these steps are taken, the Bitcoin moves from Amy to Bob. So this kind of simplifies and gives you a visual look at just what happens in a Bitcoin transaction and how important the blockchain is to this transfer of Bitcoin. And finally, why is this so revolutionary? What makes this blockchain technology so important and such a game changer? Well, the technology can work on almost any type of transaction involving value. That could be currency, as in Bitcoin. It could be goods and property. It can even be sensitive information. The uses are almost limitless. Blockchain can also help reduce fraud because every transaction is in a public record. Now, like I said, Bitcoin is a currency, but there are many altcoins, we call them altcoins, that work off of the blockchain technology that aren't currency. There's even a web browser that actually there's a link to that uses, it's BAK, it's an altcoin, and it uses the blockchain for a different kind of advertising model. And there are many others that use a project behind the Bitcoin, or I should say altcoin, that is a service or a product that uses the blockchain as its foundation. So I hope you've learned something in this video, and if you liked it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up down below, and if you want to subscribe, there's a link over here. There it is, over here. And to parts 1 and 2, you can go here or here. So, with that, until next time, I will say goodbye.